pleasure of talking to Mr. Peter Bogdanovich
Oh, wow.
about 5 or 6 months ago about this film. I think it was in festivals.
That's great.
And at the time, it was called Pasadena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the title change?
Yeah, well, the basic, first of all, when you're scrolling through like DVR, like you're on iTunes or whatever, you know, the letter C comes before the letter P. I swear to God, I want like a letter early on the alphabet so people don't have to work too hard to move their finger. But then also, like if you're like if you're living in like, you know, Des Moines or somewhere and you're just like scrolling through whatever, if you see a dysfunctional Thanksgiving dramedy called Pasadena, you don't really know what that means. Or if you see one that's called Cold Turkey, well, that's interesting.
It's a good title. It's a strong title, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you about directing Mr. Bogdanovich, because of course he's one of the great directors of all time.
Right.
He told me that he gave you a little bit of shit on the set about where to put the camera.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit. Is it difficult directing a great director as an actor?
It was initially. Here's the thing. It wasn't difficult for me to tell him what to do. It was, I think, difficult for us sometimes to get past him not always wanting to do it.
That's a big difference.
He'd be like, the thing he'd always say is like, you're not going to use that.
But I will say that Will was very gracious, and I know I'm sure it had to be frustrating at times, you know, when he's got it set up and it's clear in his, you can tell, I mean, I could tell on the set that it's clear in Will's mind what he wants. And for Peter to say, well, you're not going to use it, it's like, okay, let's just do it anyway.
Well, so you're an accomplished director in your own right now.
Thank you for noticing.
Absolutely. I mean, do you find a difference when you're acting on a set now that you've directed a film, you kind of have that knowledge?
I do, I do feel differently now, only knowing how much stress the director's going through. So I know in my experience as a director, you know, being a director and an actor, I kind of know like where the bullshit begins and ends for an actor. So sometimes you have the actors that are like, well, I don't feel comfortable standing 2 feet that way. And as a director, you're like, well, all the lights are 2 feet that way. So you could do the same scene 2 feet that way. So I kind of have a better idea of, but you know, still you can't make an actor, you can't make them do things, which is difficult.
It'd be nice if you could.
It would be so nice if you could just say, just stand here and say that.
Yeah.
But there's a whole process, but I think I have a little, I don't want to say more respect for a director, because I feel like I always did, but I think I understand where they're coming from a little bit better.
What was your experience like playing wife to Mr. Bogdanovich?
I had a great time. I had a great time with Peter and the whole cast. I mean, we were kind of all in this house together, literally. On and off camera. I have a great shot of the whole cast. We were all on one bed, like just waiting. and there were probably like 6 of us just cramped up. It was like summer camp. And we tell stories to each other. And then Peter's stories, you know, are one step, you know, Cary Grant.
I was talking to Orson Welles.
We got a lot of those stories, which were amazing and great and, you know, worth the drive to Pasadena.
It seems like the trouble with the family really begins when Nina tells the family secrets.
Right.
So did we learn a lesson about maybe family secrets are best kept secret? What do you guys think?
Well, I think it's complicated because the trouble with the family is that they're all really smart intellectually, but they're idiotic emotionally. So they can't, they don't know how to express themselves. They don't know how to tell each other how they actually feel about one another. And when this crazy person comes in and actually starts telling everyone how everyone feels about everyone, of course the whole thing explodes. But you sort of need it to explode in order for them to actually get through all their 30 years of nonsense.
Right.
So yeah, I think, I don't know.
But yes, family secrets should be kept secret. That's what you'll learn from watching this film.
Yeah,
just let it simmer underneath the surface and pass the stuffing and call it a day.
Finally, I mean, watching this movie, the only thing I could think of was like, best Thanksgiving ever.
Right.
I know. Most entertaining, for sure.
What do you guys have a favorite Thanksgiving?
Mine don't usually. My family actually gets along pretty well. I mean, sometimes there's a little too much wine, and somebody's drunk in the corner. Like, I love you so much. I wasn't as good of a mom as I should have been. It's like, you're fine. Just go to bed, and we'll talk tomorrow. But mine usually aren't that. I don't want to say damaging. Explosive.
And this was based a little bit on your own experience.
Listen, I love my family. My family loves me. Like, if they really fought this much, like, I wouldn't have written the movie, obviously. Like, but yeah.
Are they still speaking to you?
Barely. It's been a weird ride. They've seen it.
Yeah. But if they're still talking to you after they've seen it, then you did something right.
Well, only because they know he's a big star now.
That's
and they
right.
have to hang on to the coattails.
You guys are awesome. It was really fun talking to you guys, and
Thank you.
congratulations on the movie. Thank you so much.
I really appreciate it.